You were not prepared. When the enemy came into this world, they slaughtered your loved ones and razed your home. You were to stop them, and so you came to me, seeking nothing but revenge. You've learned that the very things that you were once terrified of could actually give you power. Now you are the hunter and they are the prey. If you wish to know the difference between you and the demons, they will stop at nothing to destroy this world, and you will sacrifice everything to stop them.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the Witchcast. For today's build, I want to create a demon hunter with the Hexblade Warlock. I like to use Warlock here because in order for Warlocks to get their powers, they need to make a pact with an entity. So in this case, you've made a pact with a cursed sword in order to give you power to fight the demons. So in order to create that concept, I'm not gonna really use any multi-classing. Furthermore, I know there's a lot of builds out there that use the Devil Side plus Darkness combo, but honestly, not only that combo is unreliable, but it may disturb your other party members, so I'm not gonna use that. Okay, so now let's take a look at what the Demon Hunter looks like. First of all, they have pointy horns and ears, they have bat-like wings, and they have beast-like legs. Also, they use these very iconic war glaives that we can get by just reflavoring one of the best weapons in D&D. In order to create our Demon Hunter, the race I'm choosing is none other than the Satyr. I mean, come on, the flavor here? You are a fake creature that hunts demons. Satyrs give us most of the features we are hoping for. They have pointy horns and ears, and they have goat-like legs. I know they are still missing the bat-like wings here, but if you have a cool DM, they will probably get you some Wings of Flying at some point in your campaign. The Wings of Flying give us some bat-like wings with a flying speed of 60 feet, and we can fly with them for 1 hour every 1d12 hours. But I'm not really choosing Satyrs just because how they look. From the optimization point of view, Satyrs is one of the best races you can ever hope for. I mean, first of all, you are a fake creature, so spells like Charm Person and Dominate Person just don't work on you. You are a medium creature and your walking speed is 35 feet. This is gonna be very helpful. I'm planning to abuse our movement speed in order to increase our character defenses. We also get a ram attack that I'm not really planning to use here, and we have the amazing magical resistance feature. It reads, you have an advantage on saving throws against spells. I know a lot of DMs that outright ban any races that get these features because how broken it really is. We also get a boost to our jumping and some proficiency in some skills in one instrument of our choice. So if you cannot use Satyrs or just don't like the race, you can always go with the good old Variant Human. The Variant Human gives us 2+1 ability scores and we get a feat to start the game with. If it was me playing, I would probably go with the Warcaster feat, for that sweet advantage on Constitution saving throws. I already talked about this feat in this channel, so I'm not really gonna go over this again. Just know that it's one of the best feats for some casters. So now let's take a look at our initial stats. We're gonna start with a 15 Constitution with a +2 and a 15 Charisma with a +1. I'm gonna go with 14 Dexterity and a 10 Wisdom, because honestly, Wisdom saving throws are kind of important. Good thing we have advantage to resist some spell effect. Okay guys, so for this build, our weapon of choice is the Double Blade Scimitar. The Double Blade Scimitar is a two-handed weapon with a special feature. If you attack with the Double Blade Scimitar as part of an attack action on your turn, you can use a bonus action immediately after to make a melee attack with it. The attack deals 1d4 slashing damage on a hit instead of the 2d4s. So this weapon is perfect to be reflavored for our Warglaives. And this is extremely powerful at level 1 because we will have the option to deal 2 strikes in one turn without spending any feats to do so, like Polea Master. Okay guys, so now let's see what we get with this class and subclass. From levels 1 to 4 as a Hexblade Warlock, we will get our Pact Magic, which is our spell slots, some Eldritch Invocations that I'm gonna go over later, our Pact Boom that of course we are choosing the Pact of the Blade, an ability score increase or feat, an expanded spell list, the Hexblade Curse feature, and the Hex Warrior feature. There are some really good spells on our expanded spell list. The problem is, as a Warlock, we do not have a lot of spell slots, so you should probably be careful whenever you plan to use those. For our Pact Boom, we are choosing of course the Pact of the Blade. Among other things, this will make our weapon deal magical damage. Also, this is a prerequisite for some of the Eldritch Invocations we're gonna choose later on. The Hex Warrior feature is probably one of the biggest reasons Hexblade Warlock are so often used for multi-classing. It gives us proficiency, medium armor, shield, and martial weapons. This also allows us to use our charisma to make our attacks with our pack weapon. Another very useful feature is the Hexblade's Curse. This gives us 3 very powerful bonuses when we are fighting our cursed target. First of all, we gain the bonus to damage rolls against the target creature equal to our proficiency bonus. We can now crit with a 19 or 20 on the d20, and last but not least, if our cursed target dies, we regain hit points equal to our Warlock level plus our charisma modifier. During these first 4 levels, you should probably pick Toll the Dead and the Eldritch Blast cantrips, so you have some range options. For spells, just make sure to grab Hex. At level 4, we will grab our mobile feat, and we are choosing the Eldritch Invocations, Improved Pack Weapon, and Eldritch Mind. Hex is probably the most famous spells for Warlocks, and we intend to use that for the first 4 levels of our careers. It gives us a d6 bonus damage for every attack we make against the creature that we've cursed. The cool thing here is that we get a secondary effect here where the creature has disadvantage on ability checks regarding one specific ability. The Eldritch Invocations that we've chose were the Improved Pack Weapon that will give us a +1 damage to attack and damage rolls, and the Eldritch Might Evocation will grant us advantage on Constitution saving throws that we make to maintain our concentration spell. Really, we are getting the best part of the Warcaster feat without having to take it. At level 4, we are picking up the mobile feat. This amazing feat will grant us +10 on our movement speed. Also, it will allow us to move away from our target without provoking an opportunity attack. Since we are using a two-handed weapon, I am assuming our AC is 17 at best. That is, if we are using a half blade. 17 is not bad, but probably is not the best AC on your party. Furthermore, we need to protect our concentration. The best way to keep us alive on the front lines is to avoid taking damage at all. So using this feat, we can get close to our targets, attack, and then move away. Later on, we will also reduce our target's movement speed to make it even harder for them to run after us. The damage we can do with this build at level 4, considering that we have Hex on, and considering a 60% chance to hit, it's 7.8 with our main attack and 6.2 with our secondary attack. If we have Hexblade Curse on, then the main attack deals 9.2 damage on the main attack and 7.6 damage on our bonus action attack. Keep in mind that due to the fact that you need 2 bonus actions to make their combo, your best bet is probably use either one or the other unless you are fighting a really big boss that's gonna take a lot of turns to bring down. Now let's move on to levels 5 through 8. The spells you should be selecting now are Spirit Shroud and Summon Shadow Spawn. For our ASI or feat, I'm gonna just boost our charisma here. And the Eldritch invocations we now should grab is Thirsting Blade and Sculptor of Flesh. Once we grab our 4th level spell slot, we should probably focus on Summon Shadow Spawn. The text on this spell is very long, but basically we call forth a Shadow Spirit that manifests in an unoccupied space that we can see within range. In combat, the creature shares our initiative count but takes its turn immediately after yours. It obeys your verbal commands and will not require any action from you to do so. The reason you should wait until you reach that 4th level spell slot is because once you cast the spell using a 4th level slot, the Shadow Spirit can attack twice. And if you go with the Despair option, any creatures other than you that starts their turn within 5 feet of the Shadow Spirit has its speed reduced by 20 feet until the start of the creature's next turn. This pairs really well with the fact that we have the mobile feat, cause now we have a 45 movement speed and our target had it reduced by 20. Now, with the Sculptor of Flesh Eldritch invocation, we can cast Polymorph, and this is probably the best use of our spell slot. You can use this offensively to turn one of your party members into a giant ape and let him crush your enemies. Or you can use it defensively to turn one of your party members into a giant ape and let him crush your enemies. Honestly, there's a multitude of things you can do with this spell. Now, at level 5, we will also be able to grab the Thirsting Blade Eldritch invocation, and this will grant us the extra attack ability. So now we can attack twice with our main attack action. But now let's take a look at our DPR at level 8. Assuming a 60% hit chance to our main attack, and now that we can attack twice on our main attack action, I expect that we can do 12.3 damage with that action and 4.6 damage with our bonus action. We also need to account for the Shadow Spirit damage. For that, I expect an extra 15.2 damage, assuming a 55% chance to hit. Now, if we are using the Hexblade curse, I expect a 16.2 damage due to our main attack and 6.5 damage with our bonus action attack. The good thing about Summon Shadow Spawn is that it is a spell that we can cast with our main action, so we can have this combo up using only one turn in combat. Then the total DPR is 32.1 and 37.9 if we are using the Hexblade curse. Moving on to levels 9 through 12. At this point, the spell that we should use now is Spirit Shroud. At level 12, we can grab another feat or ASI, and since keeping our concentration is becoming more and more important for our damage, I really want to grab Resilient Constitution here, cause now we have proficiency and advantage when you are rolling our Constitution saving throw to maintain our spells. The Eldritch invocation we really need to grab at level 12 is the Life Drinker. Let's see what these choices do with our character. The Spirit Shroud spell is our go-to spell now, using our 5th level spell slot. It reads, you call forth spirits of the dead, which fit around you for the spell's duration. This spell is pretty straightforward. We get a 1d8 extra damage when we hit a creature within 10 feet of us. The damage can be either radiant, necrotic, or cold damage, and we can choose the type whenever we cast the spell. Any creature that takes damage can't regain hit points until the start of your next turn. In addition, any creature of our choice that we can see that starts its turn within 10 feet of us has its speed reduced by 10 feet until the start of our next turn. But since we are using our 5th level spell slot, the damage increases and it's now 2d8s. The Life Drinker Eldritch invocation will also grant us some bonus to our damage. It will let us add a second time our charisma modifier to our damage rolls. So now, on round 1, we cast Spirit Shroud and just blow our enemies up with this awesome damage. Let's see how this damage looks like. With our main attack action, assuming a 55% chance to hit, I expect 26.1 damage. With our bonus action, I expect 11.6. Now if we are using Hexblade's curse, for our main attack action, I expect 31.2 damage and 15.4 for our bonus action attack. The total DPR here is 37.7 and 45.6 if we are using Hexblade's curse. Now let's see how this character looks from levels 13 to 20. Now that we are reaching the end of our character's career, probably the best thing we can do in combat is not doing damage. At level 20 we will have access to Foresight, Force Cage, Seeking Radiance. We will also have the option to grab 2 ASI or feats, and I'm going to cap her Charisma here and grab the Lucky feat. Seeking Radiance is one of the most famous spells for high level casters. I did not want to grab this earlier on because we didn't have a way to trap our enemies, but you'll soon see why this is now a pretty good choice. So Seeking Radiance reads, when a creature moves into the spell area for the first time on a turn, or it starts its turn there, the target creature must succeed on a Constitution saving throw or take 4d10 radiant damage, and he also suffers a level of exhaustion. If you are not familiar with exhaustion, this is the table for the effects for each exhaustion level. At level 1, the target has disadvantage on abilities checks, the second level they have their speed reduced by half, a third level of exhaustion, the target has disadvantage on attack rolls and saving throws, and if we get the target all the way to level 6, they just die. This spell is just amazing if we combine it to the Force Cage spell. The Force Cage is pretty much like Wall of Force, but it does not require our concentration. So at round 1, we can cast Force Cage, and then we can cast Seeking Radiance inside the Force Cage. From that point on, if the target cannot teleport out of the Force Cage, which is no easy task, it is completely doomed and we don't even have to engage the target directly. This combo is pretty famous and is commonly called the microwave combo. Good thing that most campaigns end before level 13 because at level 13 this combo gets online and it's pretty hard for non-casters to compete with that. At level 17 we will be able to grab Foresight, which is pretty much the best buff spell you can ever hope for. It requires no concentration, it's a 1 minute to cast and it lasts for 8 hours, so you can have this pretty much on for the whole adventuring day. It reads, you touch a willing creature and bestow a limited ability to see into the immediate future. For the duration, the target can't be surprised and has advantage on attack rolls, ability checks and saving throws. Additionally, other creatures have disadvantage on attack rolls against the target for the duration. This spell immediately ends if you cast it again before its duration ends. And just for the icing on top of that, we are grabbing the luck feat. If you ever manage to fail a saving throw or ability check and you really want to succeed, you can just use your luck point and turn that into a success. And since now we have advantage and we cap our charisma, our damage just received a really big boost here. For our main attack action, I now expect 46.5 damage and 20.8 for our bonus action attack. If we are using Hexblade Curse, I now expect 59.2 damage with our main attack and 27 damage with our bonus action attack. The total DPR here is 67.3 and 86.2 if we are using the Hexblade Curse. From this we can really see that advantage really can boost our character's damage, especially if we are using Hexblade Curse. So now let's do an overview of our character's DPR and compare it with my baselines. Keep in mind that I always assume that we have 4 rounds for each combat, we have 4 combats, and we can take a short rest after the second combat. Overall, I would say this character is pretty effective, because we did manage to stay above the baseline for our entire careers. This character is not really doing amazing damage if we compare it to our elite baseline, but eventually, if you do manage to play this character after level 17, due to Foresight, we do really experience a spike in our damage. But since most campaigns end between levels 8 to 12, I would say we can end this character on a pretty good spot. So this is it for our build today, guys. If you like this video, please click the like button, subscribe, and activate the notification bell for some awesome videos. Bye!